It's Bourbon Bill, and tonight, a very special episode. We're diving into one of my favorite annual releases and a nice early review just for you. It's Woodford Batch Proof. Everybody, so sit down and get ready to learn if this bottle is worth your hard-earned doll hairs tonight. Proof on this bad boy is 119.5, compute 59.75% alcohol by volume. Big shout out to Dave Vogel saying, thank you, sir. He always comes through on these. Apparently Illinois gets these things pretty early. PA wouldn't see these until midway through 2025. Then by then you would want to know, Bourbon Bill, I gotta know. I've seen it earlier. I need to know if it's good or not. Well, thank Dave, and thank you for tuning in, that we can get this review out to you real early, and you can determine if the 2025 Woodford Batch Proof is something you want to buy. This is a 2025 Batch Proof. It is 119.5, like we said. Last year's 2024 is 121.2. So if you see a 121.2, that will be the 2024 bottle. And as you can see, ours is just about kicked. If you saw a 124.7, that would be 2023's bottle. So they're all different proof points. You got to look them up to see what they were. They only do one a year, although occasionally Costco gets an odd batch that's its own separate proof. Occasionally. Hasn't happened for a couple years though. Now, MSRP is around 150 to 160 doll hairs. Pretty pricey. Last year, I'll link my video above, I asked Elizabeth McCall, please give us a range of ages. And did she? Nah. She gave us the middle finger instead. We got the same bottling and the same just generic who knows what's in here as we did last year. There's been no improvement. In keeping with their tradition the past couple years, it is a 700 ml bottle, but it is nice and weighty, man. Love it. One of the best bottles in the game for classy feeling. And honestly, I'm going to put this out there on a limb. If you like to give a gift that looks expensive, and probably most people are going to like it, this is a great one to give if you got about 150 doll hairs to spend. Okay? There you go. Press release on this bad boy. Not a lot here, except a few things. We batched over 100 plus different Woodford Reserve barrels together to get this release. Now, they're probably not that old. So let's assume conservatively we're getting 220 bottles per barrel times 100. I mean, there's about 22,000, let's round up, 25,000 bottles of this released, if not more. Maybe they get 300. Maybe they're up to 30,000, and they say 100 plus. We don't know. So this is not a super limited release, even though it's annual. Just putting that out there. A little bit of math for everybody. And then, again, in the act of transparency, the press release says, the barrels used to create Batch Proof for 2025 are drawn from many dates of production and matured in various warehouses and different floors. So, this is like a kitchen sink type of Batch Proof here for 2025. At previous times they've said, oh, these are from the lower floors or these are from the high floor. This one's like, hey, whatever leftover barrels we got, throw them together. That's 2025's release. Now, it is long rumored, though, that the Woodford Batch Proof is not just barrels of Woodford. There's actually barrels from Old Forester mixed in there because it's all under the Brown-Forman umbrella. Okay, so, I don't know. They don't really say that, but the rumor is it's 2 barrels of Woodford to 1 barrel of Old Forester. Now, what you want to know, how does it taste? How does it compare to last year? Is it a buy, Bourbon Bill? Let's dive into the details right about now. Color. Nice and dark color on here. Gotta love the color. Now, did crack this bottle today. This sample's been sitting out for about 30 to 35 minutes, just airing out to give us the best possible review on a fresh crack. These do tend to get a little better with some air in them. Gotta say that. So I expect whatever we say tonight to only improve a little bit with air. On the nose. Wow, I get like a cherry, vanilla, cinnamon, caramel bomb on the nose. That's a lot, but it's like a subdued cherry caramel, a little bit of vanilla, Very cherry. A little bit of oak in the back end, a lot of brown sugar. This is probably the most cherry smelling one that I remember. I mean, I remember some fruits on others, but this is very cherry. Down the hatch. Man, that's good. Man, that's good. Little on the sweeter side. I just get the cherry, the caramels, the vanillas. Hint of oak there at the back end, some cinnamon. Probably one of the most Old Forester smelling ones in a long time. Like some Old Foresters, like more cherry, like the older stuff, like kind of President's Choice, and made some really good single barrels of Old Forester. Younger Old Forester tends to be a little bit banana. I don't get any banana in this, but it feels like it's got some older Old Forester mixed in with the Woodford, which is where I'm getting the cherry note from. Look, for me, A+, because I always buy these. I always love them. You know, they're never my top bourbon of the year, right? They're never in that top 5 spot, right? But they're always good. They're always delicious. And I always pretty much drink through the bottle over the course of the year. And I can't say that about every bottle I own, you know. Even some bottles I consider better. It's just, I reach for these a lot. I like the profile. A+ for me. I think for everybody else, it's a good flavor. It'd be like an A. You know, the price is steep for not age shaded. We gotta say that. It's not a good value. Alright, let's compare it to last year's. Put last year's in the black. Ooh, what a cork pop. I love the corks and the bottles on these things. Alright, last year's has had obviously plenty of airtime. Like we said, 121.2, compute 60.6% alcohol by volume. Little bit higher proof. Let's give last year's a nosing. Oh yeah, a little bit different direction here. This year's is far sweeter and a little more cherry heavy. Last year's has like more toffee spice. It's not quite as cherry, it's like peach. A little bit peach more than cherry. Smells a little bit oakier last year's. Alright, last year's down the hatch. Okay, yeah, last year's in the black there is a little bit more peanut brittle toffee direction. A little less sweet, more savory. It's got a touch more oak on the back end. And overall, it's just not as sweet. Leans a tad nuttier. It's a draw. I mean, if you like the, you know, the peanut brittle toffee, oak, and like peach type fruit more, or do you like cherry, a little bit sweeter, a little bit less oak, you're gonna like this year's more. They're kind of a draw, but that's a nice thing about batch proof. Generally, it's a little bit different each year, right? So you're not getting the same thing over and over again. Keeps it interesting. Batch proof is really the only way to taste Woodford at a higher proof than 90.4. But there is one other option that's less expensive and probably more available. Old Forester single barrel. Barrel strength, baby. The rebel, if you will, of the Brown-Forman family, because these sons of bitches can be pretty hot. This one's 131.3. Compute 65.65% alcohol by volume, so a little bit of a barrel burner, some might say. This is a Joe Canals pick, courtesy of my brother-in-law, Nate. Nate, thank you, sir. So this is different than the Old Forester single barrel that we compared last year's to, and I thought, heck, why not? You know, these can vary quite a bit. Warehouse K, floor 6. We like to see the higher floors, we do. That generally means better juice. I feel like a lot of the Brown-Forman corks are always squeaky like that with a little bit of a pop. Alright, in the mini here. That bottle there is new. Just got that for Christmas. So thank you again, Nate. The problem with the Old Forester single barrels is, you know, they're $85 to $100 hairs, right? In that range for pricing. But you could get a real turd. I mean, there are some that are hot trash. Now, I've been lucky and I've gotten some that are very good, that are killer, so they're a good value at that price then, right? But it's a gamble. You're gambling with about $100 hairs. The Woodford Batch Proofs, always consistently good. So yes, you're spending $150, $160, but you're getting something that's a little more consistent. Gotta say that. Okay, obviously, because there's Old Forester and the Woodford, they're both heat cycled, but maybe not all of the Woodford Batch Proof is heat cycled. We don't know. all this Old Forester is though. So the age on these is young, 5, 6 probably. Here's the Old Forester single barrel. Here's the Batch Proof. Batch Proof's darker. So there you go. So the Batch Proof probably has some older whiskey in it. All right, the Old Forester, Joe Canal's pick on the nose. Good Lord, holy cherries. This is very cherry forward. It's cherry forward, it's very caramely cherry, but it's a little bit brighter. Woodford Batch. Oh yeah, so smelling this and then smelling this. Now there's oak, because this is clearly older. All right, Old Forester single barrel down the hatch. That's all cherry, caramel, and a faint hint of banana. So that's real good. Thank you, Nate, for that pick again. All right, now after tasting that, back to the Woodford Batch. More pronounced cherry here. More pronounced cherry than the Old Forester. This is older. This has more oak. Almost like a faint chocolate note now on it. Yeah. The Woodford Batch is better. Is it 50 doll hairs better? I'd say a 10 doll hair bill would feel more appropriate. I think Woodford Batch Proof needs to be about 115, 120 doll hairs max. I'd feel better there. What other Brown-Forman product is barrel proof and we don't know the age of it? Oh, look out. It's gold because it's the king of fucking value from Brown-Forman. A Jack Daniel's single barrel proof bottle. These are about 68 doll hairs in PA a bottle. But this one was a Costco pick. Courtesy of my friend Mike. Thank you, Mike. 53 doll hairs for this son of a bitch. 100 doll hairs cheaper. 100 doll hairs cheaper than that bottle of Woodford Batch. Gonna pour it up in the mini here. Proof on this one's 127.4. Compute 63.7% alcohol by volume. I feel like laser coats, barrel houses are becoming a thing for even Jack Daniels. This is 2-47. So, location 2, barrel house 47. On the nose for the Jack Daniels. Wow, way more. Where? We in Monkey City? It's bananas around here, baby. We're in the tropics. Bananas, caramel, down the hatch. Oh, man, I love me a banana sundae there. Oh. Bananas, caramels, brown sugar. It's just standard Jack Daniels profile. It's delicious. Delicious. Back to the Woodford Batch Proof here compared to that. Again, it smells older. I mean, the oak, when you're tasting these younger things, the oak's coming out more in this new one here. So instead of bananas, you're getting the cherry here and you're getting the oak. Down the hatch. Yeah, this is a more complex sip. It is better. Now, if you have a killer pick of Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof, that may not be the case, right? That pick could be a lot better, but that particular pick is a little bit more youthful. It's not as good as the Woodford Batch Proof, but again, are we talking 100 doll hairs more than this bottle here? No, not. The value's not quite there. Again, the value's not there for the Woodford Batch Proof, although it is better than both offerings so far. I wouldn't leave you there. One final comparison. Comes 3 times a year. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Now, this may be slightly unfair. Look, I have the bottles I keep up here normally when I'm not filming are like bottles I'm trying to kill, that are low. Gotta get rid of them. Gotta make room for the new stuff, right? And this is one of those bottles. This is A123, so the first batch from 2023, which was 125.6, compute 62.8% alcohol by volume, was 70 doll hairs back in January of 2023, and we're now in January of 2025, so 2 years ago. Had a lot of airtime. Coincidentally, this was the last Elijah Craig Barrel Proof to bear the age 12 years mark on the side. After this, they went lower for most of their releases, except for C923. We'll put this in the mini. So look, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, is also technically a batch proof. They do 3 batches a year. They're batches, just like Woodford Batch Proof, right? But they don't use the stupid name batch proof. They say barrel proof on them, which just sounds better, you know? Price is a lot less for these. Ages on, well, these are all age dated. So again, A123 here was the last of the age dated, and this is one of my favorites. I think it's going to beat the Woodford, but even the youngest one in 2024 was like a 10-year. We don't know what 2025 is going to bring for these. Hopefully some higher ages. 2024 wasn't the best year for Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. 2023 was a real high point, though, we got to say. But 70 to 75 doll hairs for their batch proofs with an age statement like Woodford. Are you paying attention, you know? Color on the Elijah Craig, even with the Woodford Batch Proof. So everything else so far has been lighter than the Woodford Batch Proof, but not this Elijah Craig Barrel Proof on the nose. Good Lord, it's got that sweet oak of age goodness in here. Brown sugar, there's a nice fruit note. Just the well-seasoned, well-aged oak is chef's kiss down the hatch. I will miss you, A123, when you are gone. Oh man, there's so much oak here. This is clearly better. Clearly better. Okay, Woodford Batch Proof. Now we're not smelling oak in this, we're smelling the cherry and the sweetness though. Down the hatch. You know, I gotta say, the Woodford Batch Proof feels as thick, if not thicker, than Elijah Craig. Doesn't necessarily come off younger, just has no oak to it in comparison. So, if there's any saving grace for the Woodford, it's that it does stand up, but it just doesn't carry the oak. That's the only thing. I would pick the Elijah Craig A123 over the 2025 Woodford Batch, but again, 2023 was a high point for Elijah Craig. In conclusion, should you buy this? Probably. Let's face it. If you're watching this channel, you're generally irresponsible with your money. You are. Just face it. You are. Okay? You're buying dumb shit that you think is going to be good bourbon, and it's not, because you don't listen to what Bourbon Bill tells you to buy. Is it expensive? Yes. It is. It's overpriced. It is overpriced. I'm telling you that right now. Is it good? Yes. Will it be your bourbon of the year for 2025? Probably not, if you're going to keep buying stuff. But this is a good way to start out the year. It really is. It's a little bit different than last year's, which is fine with me. I think it's good. To me, it's a buy. And I buy these every year because they're consistently good, right? And they're better than some of the Old Forester single barrels, right? They're gonna be better than some of the Jack Daniel's barrel proofs that you're gonna get during the year. Are they worth that much more than those bottles? That's up to you and how you feel about the money. But if you have 150 doll hairs burning a hole in your pocket, you could do a lot worse than this bottle. But I think it's high time. So pay attention, Elizabeth McCall. I'm calling your ass out. It's high time you get off your lazy ass and do something about this release and make it better, you know. Like, goddamn Booker's gives you a breakdown of what's in there. The ages, you know, they give you a breakdown. Little Book, you know, they give you a breakdown. You know, if you don't want to disclose all of it, like, oh, it's 90% of 4-year heat cycled, just give us 4 to 10, 4 to 20, 5, 10 to 20. Just give us a breakdown. It's time, if you're going to charge $150, give us the courtesy of a little bit of information. That's all I ask, Woodford. That's all I ask. So if you like this review, please like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Have a good evening, everybody.